What is a business priority and why do you need to know about it? Well, that's what we're going to cover today. We are going to define and give you an understanding of what a business priority is and show you why it's so important that you, as a designer, know about it. Then we're going to highlight 5 business priority examples to give you some context around what a business priority is and how you can leverage it to make you successful. Zig here, and I'm here to help you become the best network designer you can be. Over the next few episodes, we are going to cover a theme called consultative leadership. Consultative leadership ties directly into why we are doing what we are doing. Consultative leadership is all about building a business plan to make you successful. Specifically, this business plan is going to bridge the gap. So you're going to have a business side and you're going to have a technology side. And this business plan that you're going to do with consultative leadership is going to bridge that gap. A lot of people that create network designs do not justify their design decisions based on the business. As we cover consultative leadership in the next few episodes, we are going to show you how to create that business plan and how to leverage that so that you can validate all of your design decisions with your business leaders. So what is a business priority? The priorities for an organization or a company or a business are the foundation of everything. Every technical decision, every business decision rolls back up to those priorities. In this process, when we create a business plan, you will get to see these priorities in action. Priorities are the first thing that we create. We create these 3 to 5 priorities, and those priorities are the buckets that everything else falls into. I like to limit the priorities to 3 to 5. The lower, the easier it is to identify the differences between the priorities. So one of the key requirements when we talk about priorities is it has to mean something to the stakeholders, to your business stakeholders or leadership. Whatever wording that you create with your stakeholders and with your customers, that wording has to resonate with the leadership. If it doesn't resonate with the leadership, it is going to be a disconnect. So we want to ensure that the wording you use for the priority name and then also the short description of that priority fully resonates with the leadership. When I'm doing this, what I like to do is I actually like to have the leadership help me write the priority and the description. So I'll take a swag. Here's an example. I might say security is your priority, and then maybe we need to ensure all compliance standards and security controls are enforced as your description at a quick high level. And then I will talk to the leadership. We'll have a full workshop discussion about that priority as a group. And then I'll allow the leadership to make some wordsmithing changes. So maybe security is not the right terminology for them. Maybe they need something like cyber defense modernization, or maybe they need something like zero trust architecture. Maybe that resonates better. I allow them to do that because this is their priority. This is them. This is their organization. I'm just coming in as a consultant or as a user or as an architect, and I want to help drive their language. It's not enough just for me to talk about this and define it for you. I need to show examples. So let's show 5 examples. We'll go into some detail on these examples to ensure they make sense. First example, example 1, customer experience. So this is a pretty good priority these days. There's a lot of terminology out there in the market, in the industry about customer success and customer experience. And so this is being used pretty heavily. And it is a good business term nowadays, customer experience. This priority could fit any market really, any vertical, any customer space. It could be an enterprise customer that has a SaaS offering. It could be a commercial customer that has a commercial physical product. It could be a service provider customer that is running services for a ton of people, a ton of different companies. It could even be public sector. So something that's maybe not making money per se, but is offering services to their own customers within the public sector space. Customer experience can be used in all those situations. What I would say is a good quick example of a definition or a description, if you will, is enable customers to efficiently and effectively accomplish their business. So something along those lines would really hit home to some organizations. Now again, a lot of this is going to be dictated on who you're talking to and what type of vertical they're in and what words resonate with that leader. And I have been in situations where we've wordsmithed the priorities and the description for 20 minutes. So it makes sense to the senior leadership. that's there. The CIO or the COO or the CEO, senior stakeholder. This has to truly mean something from a business perspective. So our second business priority is digital transformation. Now this is a huge term that is being thrown out there all the time, and I use it pretty regularly as well, but I use it because digital transformation means something to me personally. Digital transformation, that's what we're all going through. Digital transformation is actually a pretty easy priority to identify and call it. Sometimes the terminology is shifted depending on the organization. I've seen digital transformation be modified to like digital modernization, digital success, a number of different terminologies. Again, you have to ensure that it makes sense, it resonates with that business leader and that stakeholder you're talking to. But for the time being, let's just say digital transformation. Now, normally for me, digital transformation, I'm gonna have some sort of digital identifier in the description. So if that is software defined, again, vendor agnostic, we're not talking specific vendor solutions here. This could change. My identifier in the description could change depending on the customer. So like software-defined networking might be an identifier. Next-gen cloud, some sort of cloud, hybrid cloud could be an identifier. Automation, orchestration could be an identifier. Some sort of DevOps, DevSecOps could be an identifier. These are kind of key critical components that would go into the description or definition of digital transformation. They're really kind of the pillar of a digital transformation, right? You're adopting technology to increase and change and morph your business. So let me give you an example of something that would be good for maybe a high-level description, right? Reduce manpower-intensive tasks by streamlining them with modern technology and tools. So that one I didn't say software-defined networking or software-defined data center or any of those, or any of those terminologies. I really try to make it more technology-focused. It could be any technology. Because today we're focused on software-defined networking, but what's going to happen 5 years from now? I want these priorities and these descriptions to live 5 years from now. So here's another example of a definition that could work for this priority, digital transformation. Redirect operational focus towards rapid and efficient business delivery by embracing and leveraging software-defined networking, infrastructure, automation, and orchestration. So those are some examples of what a digital transformation priority would mean to their organization. Our third business priority is security. Now, I already kind of talked about security at the beginning, so we'll use security again. Security can have a different title, right? Security by itself, I've seen pervasive security, zero trust architecture, I've seen cyber defense modernization, I've seen cybersecurity, I've seen risk management framework, a whole bunch of different terms that mean security to different organizations. When you're talking to your customers, when you're talking to your users, your stakeholders, see what resonates with them. You could throw out security, put it there on paper, and they're gonna be like, yeah, I don't like security, let's do compliance. Or I don't like security, let's do risk management. And that's fine, that's perfectly fine. You want it to mean something to them. Not just you, to them. Here's a good example of a definition. I know I gave a quick one before. Committed to safeguarding our business, our customers, and infrastructure by protecting all digital assets. So something along those lines. I also like to tell people to think about, when we talk about security, think about business assurance. That's another good term, right? And actually that has been a priority too for security, business assurance. Now, when we talk about security, a lot goes in that security bucket, and I like to have that conversation because why do we care about security from a business standpoint? Everyone wants to make sure their data is secure, their users are secure, their applications are secure, but why do we really care about all that? And a lot of it comes down to, besides compliance, we'll get to compliance in a minute. You can't have a business that's brought down, you're not going to be functional. So that's why business assurance comes into the picture. Business assurance is about that process of keeping your business making money, achieving your goals, no matter what happens within the situation. So we talk about risk management framework or risk management in general, security, compliance standards, right? You have to meet some sort of compliance standards so that you can stay in business. Our fourth business priority, and this is going to be operational efficiency. Now, I like to use this terminology because a lot of times we're changing processes, procedures, policies, making them more streamlined, more next gen, if you will, more modern processes, procedures, and policies. But then also we're adopting technology to increase our effectiveness. And then obviously making us efficient as an organization, or more efficient. I'll give you an example. If we throw in a software-defined solution, and we're going to get some inherent capabilities with every software-defined solution. We're going to get automation, orchestration, We're going to get some sort of security elements, pervasive security. So if we want to instantiate security controls, we can do that and then pull them up and make them across that entire fabric, whatever solution that is. With these capabilities, we can instantiate and ensure we have more effectiveness and efficiency. Think of creating security controls. We'll just do that one. Creating security controls on 100 different servers in a data center. And you have to go and do it manually, but if you have a soft-defined solution, you can bring it up to the controller and push those security controls down. Now you're more efficient. Now your IT people, your servers, your networking team can go do other things that they couldn't do before. So you're becoming more effective, more efficient. You're reducing resource utilization so that they can do other things. And that resource is everything. It's not just people, but it is people. It's time, it's money, it's technical resources like storage and resources like CPU and power. You can reduce the use of those in certain circumstances and then migrate those resources, whatever they might be, to more important priorities. Operational efficiency. I love operational efficiency. It's one of my favorite priorities. I will throw in a lot of CapEx and OpEx outcomes in there. So like if you're going to reduce your CapEx, you have a requirement to reduce cost, reduce spending. I will find a lot of things that can do that for you, right? Making you more productive as a company, as an organization. Our last one, our fifth one, number 5, is a lifecycle management. When I talk about lifecycle management, I'm talking about a combination of a process and a framework to ensure that nothing in the organization goes out of its life cycle. So that could be something as simple as a technology issue where computers aren't end of life, software is not end of life, licenses. Another good example from a technology perspective would be certifications. So if you do some sort of certification, like a certificate authority, and you issue certs to your applications and your services, having some sort of lifecycle management process of validating those certificates are still valid and good and renewed. I've actually been in situations where certificates were not renewed and systems went offline and the company had a huge outage. And this isn't just one company. This is actually a regular occurrence. Certifications go expire because they're not tracked in this lifecycle management process. And then those critical systems go offline. A good example of a critical system might be network access control that's using certificates. And if those certificates go offline, they expire. Well, now your network access control solution goes down, and now no one can access the network. No one can authenticate to the network. Lifecycle management could be replacing hardware, right? End-of-life hardware, routers, switches, servers, storage devices, etc. A whole bunch of physical hardware. Lifecycle management can also be training your organization, your staff members on the new policies and processes and changes. Lifecycle management can be a pretty big bucket of things that you should make sure people know about. So let's get a quick example of a description so that it makes sense, because I'm giving you some examples of what would fall kind of in lifecycle management, but I like to have that description so that it's clear cut. Good description of lifecycle management would be deploy technology and establish processes, policies, and procedures or plans that help proactively monitor your software and your hardware, I keep saying hardwire, your hardware lifecycle throughout the organization and environment. So that is really critical, right? Now that definition is really tied to software and hardware, but it doesn't have to be. A lot of cases, it could be a whole bunch of other things. So if you have a situation where you are helping a school, a higher ed school, you could do some sort of lifecycle management for the courses, like the digital courses that are offering. There's a whole bunch of different components that can go into lifecycle management. Those were our 5 business priority examples. I hope those resonated with you, hope they made sense. Never once in this entire process do we specify vendor-specific solutions. We don't solutionize at the beginning. That is what most people start to do, but we're not doing that in this process, in this framework. Everything must be tied back to the business, and we must ask why. Why are we doing this? Why does it matter to the business? We must also ask, what is the value to the business if we do this? This process is a tried and true process. When we conduct this correctly, the organization you work with, if it's your customers, if it's your business, if it's your organization, you're going to have this business plan that you can leverage to make sure that they are successful and that you are successful. None of what we are talking about is hard. None of what we talk about requires a whole bunch of technology experience or depth of information. This is all business and consulting. That's why we call this consultative leadership. Hey friends, that's going to close out this episode, this show, where we highlighted business priorities. We gave you 5 examples of business priorities. Now just to recap, the first business example was customer experience. The second one was, if I can recall correctly, digital transformation. This is a test for me too. The third one was operational efficiency. The fourth one was security. And the fifth one was lifecycle management. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, obviously you can leave comments below in the comment section of YouTube, or you can email me at zig@zigbits.tech. Until next time, bye for now.